again for some more nerd action. The nerds you heard, or nerd news, as we call it. It's the icon, always with me, the egregious. Tell them where they came to. Well, we'll tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at FD Egregious on all platforms, Twitch, The Kick, and the YouTube, where I mostly do some story-based play, all, all live.
All right. So for this one, like I said, we're doing reviews. We did the review for the My Reveal trailer for Street Fighter 6, and now we're just going to quickly just give our thoughts on certain topics, whether video games, anime, like comic book stuff, things that are going on in the world of the geekdom, the geek world. So let's get started with our first topic. Let's check this one out. So for the first topic, it's the Daredevil Born Again, and I believe it's coming out what, March 5th? March 5th is when it comes out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, it's March 4th actually.
March 4th. Same
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, close enough.
But when I watched the trailer, the first thing that came to mind was they tried really hard to let us know that this isn't going to be like some Disney-isms. Like they tried to show us like, hey, this is going to be as close as we're allowed to get to the Netflix, version of Daredevil. So in that regard, it did look good. It started with both I was about to call him Cox. Well, Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
It started with Matt Murdock and the Kingpin having a conversation, and right out the gate,
Yeah,
I
very
called Cap.
tense.
Yeah, no, it was very tense, but like I need to call Cap like right out the gate, because I mean we saw the Echo series, we saw the Hawkeye series. Was his eye not damaged?
They addressed that in the Echo series.
Did they? I gotta go
Yes,
back
they
and watch.
did. Like
He had no scarring.
yeah, I mean, like the scarring part, I will admit, was the only glaring thing because in Hawkeye, just like in the comics, there is a point where the Kingpin got shot in the eye. Now, I guess that was with pinpoint accuracy because I guess the bullets just went straight for the eyeball. And I thought that when they announced Kingpin was going to be in the Echo, then I'm like, okay, so now we get to see, how he gonna look? Is he gonna have, I mean, and just like you said, then I figured like, all right, well, if he's gonna have some surgery, there is gonna be some scarring and blah blah blah. But then he just showed up, and I'm like, so does he have a cyber eye, or is it just?
Yeah,
And it's been months since I saw the Echo series, but I think he basically just alluded to the fact that, since he got money, he paid for good surgery, so his eyes are just good. So I'm just like,
exactly. I was like,
so I guess we're moving on for
as,
that.
as the kids say, that's Cap. So
But between Hawkeye and Echo, Kingpin is shown twice. Daredevil was shown in Spider-Man and She-Hulk, so that's his two showings. So now the both of them they get a third time's a charm, and now we are back in the streets of Hell's Kitchen, where apparently he is now the mayor. And
well,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
because at the end of the Echo series, he did announce that he was going to run for mayor. So
yeah,
I guess he actually won. But what's interesting to me is because we did see Daredevil, unfortunately, in the She-Hulk series. So that was the last time we saw him, and then we saw him in the Echo series, but that was more of a flashback. They told us, well, the Kingpin said to Matt Murdock, because I forgot he knows who he is, because in season 3 when Matt Murdock took off the mask and he was like, I want you to know that I did this to you. Ha. Like that whole thing. So he knows who he is. And it's crazy because Kingpin can't tell anybody that he knows who Daredevil is, because who's gonna believe him that a blind guy like is
yeah,
Daredevil?
supposedly
So yeah, so it's like, so he can't even out him. But he said that something happened because he's like, why did you quit being a vigilante? And then he said a line got crossed. So what they're trying to tell us is between She-Hulk and the series, something happened. Because you can't say something happened like way back when, because then that would negate the She-Hulk thing. He was clearly Daredevil like during. So
yeah.
something happened after She-Hulk, but before his series, that made him quit putting on the mask. So I am interested to see what goes on with that. I like the fact that they followed up with, what is it, the Bullseye guy?
Yeah. Bullseye is still around. They are bringing the Punisher, so we're not going to hold off for no season two
Yeah,
like stuff. This is Born Again, so if I'm not mistaken, I feel like I heard this somewhere that Daredevil Born Again is not going to be some Disney retelling. This is
yeah.
still alluding to the fact that it's carrying over from the Netflix series.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's clear. I mean, just by them bringing in the Bullseye guy, so like they're
I mean,
clearly
but it could just be like the same like actors that are just like coming back again,
no,
So that's
but the
what,
story, but the storyline says that though.
okay. I
The
mean, because I
storyline.
missed
I
out
mean,
on that part.
and I even heard the rumors that they're trying to get the other three back as well, like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and the
Oh yeah,
actress.
yeah. I mean, it's like you might as
Uh,
well at this point.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
brought back
but
a
this could be their point to get a new like Danny Rand, because it's like everybody kept
this.
saying that they didn't
I
like the
don't.
guy that played them. So I'm just
Well,
like,
Nah, Danny Rand, he was fine to me. Like I would
mm,
like to see him get another season because I want to see how he got the two glowing fists with the guns. But
yeah,
like I said,
right.
yeah, I like the actor who played Danny. I don't have a problem with him. But the one actor that I do have a problem with, and
Uh,
this was the low part of the entire trailer for me.
the low
So
part.
so you see Matt Murdock, yes.
Uh-huh.
You see Kingpin, yes.
Uh-huh.
You see the Punisher, yes. And then for the
Cool.
love of God, they showed that god awful Karen Page. And I said, Jesus
They
Christ.
they show both Karen and Foggy. So I'm like, oh snap. So like the moment I saw those three come down the streets, I said, oh, okay, so the whole crew is back. And I'm
No, but
so
see, but that's what I have a problem. Like, I don't have a problem with Foggy. It looked like he lost weight. He got a little beard, actually got a haircut. I don't got a
yeah.
problem with Foggy. Why is Karen Page still Karen out of
Because
the
Karen's
entire
part of the crew. Her name is part of the sign now, I think, right? It's just like they made her like part of the team.
Nelson Murdoch Page.
Yeah.
For the love of everything I hold dear, I hated her character throughout the entire run of the Netflix Marvel series. She was the worst
Not the
character
whole
that
run.
ever. No, actually, let me rephrase that. The only character that was worse than Karen Page was Trish Walker. But the problem that I have, see,
Yeah, yeah.
Jessica Jones season 3 is my favorite season because Trish Walker got what she deserved. My problem with Karen
Because she was trying
Page
so hard.
my problem with Karen Page is that she was on first of all, she was a drug addict. Like she was a drug addict and a party girl. She was on
Karen?
trial.
Am I
She
sweet
was
Karen?
my sweet Karen. She was on trial for murder. I'm going to say that again. She was on trial for murder. Not only did she
Now,
hold on.
okay, go on.
Not only did she beat the murder charge,
Yeah.
she ended up getting a job at a law firm that she wasn't qualified for, and then she went from being an assistant to the she was actually sitting with them in the courtroom when
Yeah.
they were doing like actual cases. She has no training, she has no schooling, she has no doctrine to be able to do that. And then to make it worse, she goes from knowing a reporter to getting that reporter's job when he died, to getting his desk and sitting there. And now she writes columns for the news. This is like the epitome of white privilege.
The
Like when
epitome
you
of white.
like when you look up white
I don't know about
privilege
the
in the
epitome now,
when you look up
that is
white
such a rise to the
privilege,
top though.
and again, when you look up white privilege in the Urban Dictionary, there's a picture of Karen Page. If that was anybody else, if that was anybody besides the blonde white girl, I'm gonna say it again. This girl was on trial for murder. Like murder. I
Wait, but
hate
wasn't that like false murder? Is like she didn't really kill nobody, right? Because
no,
it's been a while since I
no,
saw that show.
no, she didn't. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
say again, if that was anybody else besides the blonde white girl from the
Uh,
South,
from the South.
they would have threw the book at him. It would have been like this girl got two jobs that she was not qualified. She was
Two
not
shots.
qualified for. Like that's not like no, no.
Hey,
And for and if we bring back Jessica Jones, for the love of God, do not bust Trish Walker out of prison. Because those are the two low light, and then don't even bring back the night nurse either, because I hated how
what's
she
wrong with
shitted on
the
because
night
because
nurse?
Cause like I hated on
He was
how
the
she
Nick
should.
Fury of the Netflix series. So what's
No,
wrong with the night
I
nurse?
didn't like how she shitted on my man Luke Cage. But she was like, oh,
I
she was like, oh, you punched a wall, so now I have to run for my life, bitch. I like they ruined her character like it's season two, but
I
aside
mean,
from
but Luke got streamed though.
yeah.
Let's be clear. But nah. But well, first of all, bring back the night nurse
And y'all
because
sitting here
again,
talking about Iron Fist? No.
I mean, but first of all, bring back the night nurse because again, like Nick Fury, she was the thread that connected all the heroes. Word, you need help? I actually know a guy from other uptown. I know a guy from the kitchen. I know a very badass detective. It's like she knows everybody. She is the like these street level heroes do not have Avenger level clearance to go get help. They need some ground level healing, and
But
that's where the night nurse Rosario Dawson comes in.
when
Damn it, more
when
Dawson, please.
when it comes to Karen Page, Trish Walker, and Claire Temple, I
Claire
say
Temple.
the I say the nay.
Now you now
but
you want to hate on Claire too.
well, no, I'm gonna hate on the writers that ruined her character
Mhm.
in season two of Luke Cage. But other than that, like I said, other than seeing Karen Page, no, I'm happy because it definitely looks like a season four continuation, and like I said,
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with it, and we will be reviewing that on Red Eyes Entertainment when that drops.
If I remember from the trailer, I believe I want to say that Jigsaw popped up in the trailer too, because there was a moment in the trailer, I believe it was the Punisher. He was fighting in the subway and he threw someone and he like threw someone towards the train and then a person turned around and like a visual scar was on his face. And I'm looking at the person like, is this gonna be some random person that gets scarred, or is this just their way of furthering scarring up like Jigsaw? Because if you watch ripping from like a Deadpool and a Wolverine joke here, if you watch any of like the five Punisher movies that came out, at least one of them I remember had Jigsaw and they like totally like jacked up his face. Like I'm talking like Dick Tracy levels of like
Oh
a
no.
jacked up villain, like a face, whatever. So when the Punisher did the same thing to him on the Netflix series when he ran his face through like the glass like mirror, by the time that the next season came, his face wasn't that like scarred up. It was just like a few lines here and there. So I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
well, I mean, he's still dateable, I guess.
Wait,
You
was that
know.
the Jigsaw? That was the guy from the Punisher series, the one that betrayed Frank?
Yeah.
Uh,
He was like was he a cop?
well,
No, 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 no.
He worked for that security agency or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. He was he represented some form of the law, I believe.
All right, but
But he was a typical corrupted fellow. So if that is indeed him, because I think it's a different actor though, but just seeing that person and it just made me think like, okay, so if we're gonna get the Punisher,
yeah,
are we also going to get like Jigsaw to come back, or at the very least like Marvel's attempt to make a further jacked up face like
yeah.
Jigsaw like person? So
No, there's a lot of see, and I was about to move on to the next topic, but this I need to say this. There's a
mhm.
lot of things that got left over because, like you said, one for Daredevil when the Netflix Marvel stuff ended,
Hmm.
well, with Daredevil, Bullseye was still on the table.
Yeah.
When it came to the Punisher, like you said, Jigsaw was still on the table. When it came to Luke Cage, his brother was still on the table because remember at the end of Luke Cage season one, his brother was in the hospital,
Oh
and the
yeah, that
same
dude.
the same doctor that helped Luke Cage get his invulnerable skin. He was in the room with his brother and he closed the door. So we never
Hmm.
found out what happened to the brother. I mean, even with Iron Fist, like we don't know what happened to Davos, like when Davos left. And
Yeah.
then, and then Danny and Meechin ended up going like overseas to take care of some shit. And then even Jessica Jones, Trish Walker's in prison.
Hmm.
So the funny thing about the Marvel Netflix series, all of them have one villain that's still here.
Hmm.
Like they all of them have one person that never got dealt with, that never got addressed. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's a Trish is in jail, but she could still get out. So
Hmm.
that's I'm looking forward to the resurrection of the Marvel Netflix stuff. You know, so it's a shame
Yeah.
we can't get a a resurrection of the Arrowverse, but c'est la
Yeah.
vie. So
Well,
with that,
well, like last person that I want to address, because this just came to my thought. There was a person, it was a real quick shot. He had I guess it was a he, because the person put on the mask and it was like the white suit. Like, I don't know if you ever, because this was my first introduction to the character. I don't know if you ever saw, I think it was Ultimate Spider-Man, where like Nick Fury told Spider-Man that he could be a better Spider-Man as long as you join like Shield, and I could give you a team. And the
yeah, I remember that.
team, yeah, and the team it consists of
White
Power Man,
Tiger,
Luke
yeah,
Cage, White Tiger, Iron Fist, and I forgot the fourth person for some reason.
Ava.
But
It was Ava.
Ava, yeah.
Yeah, she was the white.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so in the
Nova. You talking about
trailer,
Nova? Nova.
yeah,
White
yeah,
Tiger.
Nova, yeah, Nova, right. So yeah, so it looks like we're going to get at least one of them on this show too, because at first I thought it was just some random villain, but then I did a quick replay and I noticed like, wait a minute, like he looks more like an X-Men character. I think I believe his name was like Fantomex, but in closer inspection, I think I peeped like a like a tiger like pendant. So I'm like, oh wait a minute, is that like the white tiger? Like
Yeah.
it,
Well, that'd be
I mean,
interesting.
it could be like a hero, or could be a hero or a villain. So
Yeah. Well, I guess we will find out on March 4th when Daredevil Born Again makes its way to Disney Plus. So sticking with Marvel, the next topic, and I don't know how much truth there is to this, but the internet's basically been buzzing. And again, I don't know if it's fake news, real news, but the rumor that's going around is that Denzel Washington will be involved in Black Panther 3. And not only will he be involved in Black Panther 3, he's actually going to be the villain of Black Panther 3. But
I'm
what's
almost
also
not surprised.
yeah, but what's even more interesting about them saying that Denzel Washington's going to be the villain in Black Panther 3, they're also now saying Disney, Marvel, whatever, they want to bring back T'Challa. They want to recast T'Challa.
I,
And my whole thing is too little, too late, because you should have recast him the first time. I will die on the sword that it is unfortunate. And I need to say this because people that watch this, y'all need to understand this. Chadwick Boseman does not own the Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman did not create the Black Panther. It's not his character. And although he was a phenomenal actor and he did a great job as the character, as sad as it is for his unfortunate death and his battle with cancer, because it sucks because I did want to see him continue to be in that role. The Where Marvel went wrong was they killed off the character, which was a wrong move because just because we unfortunately lost Chadwick Boseman doesn't mean we also had to lose T'Challa because those are two different people. So the stories of T'Challa now will never be told because they wanted to get rid of the Black Panther. And I died on that sword when it happened. Having Shuri take the mantle was the best worst case scenario because if the king dies, if the queen dies, and if the male heir to the throne dies, she's the only one left. So she should be the Black Panther. So that made
yeah,
perfect
literally
sense.
like
But
the whole family got killed off. So it's like,
yeah, literally. Yeah. So it's like, but it makes perfect sense for her to be Black Panther. Everybody that thought Michael B. Jordan should take over, yeah, we're stupid for that. But
yeah.
but like that didn't even make sense. But that's like when people say Grant Gustin should have been in the Flash movie. I'm like, like I need y'all to make sense
I
with that.
mean, and that's no cameo. It could have been nice
Yeah.
though,
No,
but
they
I
wanted they
mean,
wanted him to be Barry Allen. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. But 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 now they
in
want to
the
course correct.
multiverse, everything makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, I
but now they
mean,
want to. Oh, but now they want to course correct it, and now they want to bring T'Challa back into the fold because of the backlash, of
the
getting rid of the cat. So, and everybody's saying they might use this multiverse of madness, Doctor Strange crap to do it, some
yeah,
whatever
which
crap.
is
But,
what I figured.
but, but, what are your thoughts specifically on the news of Denzel Washington being a season 3 villain, and also the news of them potentially trying to recast and bring back T'Challa?
Well, it's as you said, when the Denzel, I believe they said it was Denzel that himself that said that before he retires, he has a long slate of movies that he's trying to knock out, and Black Panther 3 was one of them. So a part of me thought that, well, I almost kind of figured they would try to continue that story, especially since they introduced, I mean, from the moment they introduced Secret Wars of the Avengers, I said, okay, so this is their chance to like turn their this is Marvel's chance to turn Secret Wars into DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths. So that way that we could firmly get all those after credits from say like in the Marvels movie when like Photon went to like the X-Men universe, whatever, and then she thought that she saw her mom,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like you have like that version, you got Deadpool and Wolverine until you're 90. Like and then and then you have, as we're saying, you know like out of all the building blocks of movies that Marvel put out there, when they end up to recast like the Red Skull, when they end up to recast like War Machine. Now all of a sudden, when Black Panther dies, y'all want to leave that one
Yeah, yeah. It's like now
alone.
y'all want to recast nobody.
So there's a small part of me that was kind of like, I mean, but y'all did before, so why kind of just keep it down? And then y'all try to kind of, I don't know if it's like saving face, but then you have this secret child affair that he had that isn't even Storm from the X-Men, because they do get married at some point,
Yeah.
But then you have this secret, like affair that he had on the side, and then you name the kid after him. So I'm like, okay, well, the kid is only like what, like 5 or something. So I'm like, I mean, I'm sure they're going to press more Panthers. So the only other way we could do this is that we speed run his age, and like I don't know who's gonna pull that off, but then they announced a secret, but then they announced like the Secret Wars. I'm like, all right, well, there it is right there. Like Multiverse of Madness, like a part 3, like a kicks off. Oh, and then they already announced the guy who, I don't know if it's definite, but they announced the guy that they want to play Black Panther. And I'm like, I don't think I recall seeing any of his work. The only
Oh,
other time,
the guy from Snowfall?
I believe that's who it was. Like his name escapes me, but they also, and I don't know if it's the same guy, but someone told me he also was the voice of, I think, Scar from the Mufasa movie.
Oh,
I think it's that guy.
yeah, I don't
I didn't do like a deep dive on this, because this is more because as much as a movie buff as I am, I'm not the type to constantly go deep, like go in these deep dives on like certain casting things. When the movie comes out, then the movie comes out, and
know.
then like I will read the credits and do judgment from there. But it's like all this spoiler buildup. I'll watch, maybe 2 out of possibly the 3 trailers if I care enough. But then it's just through one ear and out the other. I'm not going to retain stuff until I see the movie, because then I'll be like fully spoiled.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right then. You already know my opinion. Like I said, I mean, it's it's like I'm for the recasting, but now it's like it's too late because it's like it's too late now because you now have to come up with a reason to bring him back. Whereas before,
They gotta
if you
age
would have
him
just
up or just bring
yeah
him from
no
another
no, but it's like
universe.
but before if you would have just picked another actor to play him, like we wouldn't be going through this right now. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but like you said, we'll see what happens. Denzel as a villain has always been Oscar worthy, so this
Yeah.
should be good. And whenever they shoot this, we'll see what happens with the Black Panther Part 3. Now on to to a little DC news. Now, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow started filming, I believe, like this week that just passed.
All
The girl
right,
that
I
the
heard it.
Yeah, the girl that's playing her, I have no idea who this chick is. Everybody seems to know her, but I don't know who she
Hmm.
is. But so it's interesting. So in the James Gunn universe, we have it's kicked off with Creature Commandos,
Mm-hmm.
and James Gunn is basically the only stuff that's canon from the previous DC regime up until now. The only stuff that he's keeping that's canon is basically all the stuff that he did. So he's keeping, Peacemaker. He's keeping the second Suicide Squad movie. I think he said he wanted to keep Blue Beetle. So the second Suicide Squad movie, that's canon, and Peacemaker's canon. But he said James Gunn did say he's gonna have to address the Justice League scene at the end of Peacemaker season 1.
Oh
So he
yeah.
does, yeah. So he does have to readdress that. But aside from that, 'cause I'm pretty sure they're gonna come up with a way to get around that. But
Mm,
besides that, with the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I'm excited to see it because we're getting the Superman movie this year, and then we're following up with the Supergirl. But from the moment he said that the Supergirl movie was basically going to be that, because remember, like in the Supergirl TV series, they said that Argo was a chunk of Krypton that her father saved, and it was just floating around in outer space. But there were people that were living on Argo.
yeah.
Basically what this is she's living on Argo by herself.
Mm.
Like she's on a floating
Oh.
rock. They said she's on a floating rock chunk of Krypton, and she's been there for like 30 years by herself, just floating in space, drifting in space. So
Mm.
then I guess when Clark finds her, when she finally lands on Earth, she's not like happy, and she's not Melissa Benoist, like she's not
Yeah.
she's not she's not like happy and full of heart and full of hope. He said she's actually going to be like emo and depressed as fuck. And on one hand, that makes perfect sense, because if my planet just got destroyed and I was alone on a rock for 20 years, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'd be a little bitter too. But I don't know how I feel about a bitchy, like bitter, angry Supergirl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I like that. I mean,
I mean, like even in certain anime stuff, I mean, I think she kind of had like that bit of an attitude, but they never went like too deep with it.
but yeah, I mean, Sasha Cali looked like she could have played that bitchy Supergirl role very
Mm.
well. But I don't know. Like I said, but like you said, it's one of those things where I gotta wait to see it. But for you, how do you feel about the fact that this has been greenlit now? We're doing this.
Yeah.
They've greenlit the Supergirl movie, and it's actually currently being filmed.
Yeah, yeah, and and for the moment they first announced this, I think this had to been before they decided to give James Gunn the wheel and steer like the DC into like a new era. But the but but I try to look up the Supergirl comic that is based on, or I probably did. I just don't remember it in full details. I just remember that she was like alone on the planet, and then she was just like called up, just doing stuff. So I don't know if it's going to be like an on Earth thing or like an off world kind of movie. But what I am interested in is what I'm pretty sure everybody that knows the characters is interested in is the fact that someone from the DCEU is who is definitely going to come back, but in a different form, is Momoa, and he's going to be
Yeah,
Mr. Lobo. He's going to be a bromo, but
the Brobo.
which even given his portrayal on Aquaman, it's just like he played a good Aquaman, but there were moments where it just like you knew he wanted to like scream like louder, be like, yo, you know,
Yeah,
and 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 then it's just like he already kind of has the look. You don't have to do too much as far as makeup. He's basically like the Wicked Witch of the West, just like turn his skin like gray and it's cold a day.
yeah, pretty, yeah,
you
very
know,
much so. That
but
sells
in
itself.
but in the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, it was said that the creator of that story, he actually wanted to include like Lobo in that bit of a story arc, but DC told him that he shouldn't use like he should not use Lobo, so he pivoted to like somebody else, I guess. But just like but just like how that Miss Marvel was supposed to be a mutant before they transitioned her into an inhuman, and now she's back to being a mutant. We're going to get the same thing here in DC. Lobo is supposed to be part of the story arc of a movie that we're going to see for Supergirl. I'm very open to see Momoa's portrayal as Lobo. I'm pretty sure he's going to kill it. It's a it's these new heroes that we have to watch out for. And like you said, I don't believe I see any of this new girl's portrayal in any of the stuff that she did. And if I did, I didn't, pay that much
Yeah,
attention to her just to be like, okay, so it's her.
yeah.
But these are the people that they chosen, so I'm pretty sure that they're going to kill it.
Yeah, definitely,
High hopes.
definitely. Yeah, we all hope so. For our final topic, I found out today that they gave the green light for which I believe starts filming at the end of this year. And the DC project that got the green light that will be filmed is the Amanda Waller series. And I pray to all that is holy, they call it The Wall. I hope they call it The Wall. And as you know, like I believe it's live action, so Viola Davis is, obviously going to play Amanda Waller.
So they're keeping her
And
around then.
yeah, because she's already she did the voice for Amanda Waller for Creature Commandos,
Yeah.
and James Gunn said whoever does the voiceover for a character in an animated project is also going to be that character in live action. So Viola Davis is already back, but it's weird because it's like
And
I'm
it's a movie
excited.
or a series, you said?
It's a series, but I'm
Oh gosh,
excited to
series.
get an Amanda Waller project. But at the same time, I'm like, what is she gonna do? I mean, we know that her daughter, she does have a daughter, which is on Peacemaker, but like, what does an Amanda Waller series look like? I gotta,
If um you said Viola Davis is still going to be her, right? And this is like a live
yeah,
action.
yeah, the wall.
So unless Viola Davis acts like the woman king from the movie that she betrayed, then I'm fine with it because she has shown that when she needs to do some actions like stuff, then she can handle herself.
Yeah,
So I
but
am
that's the thing,
open.
like,
So I am
but what?
open to that. But like you said, it's a series, and Waller is used to sending other people and other
Yeah,
supers out to do stuff. So why of a sudden are we doing a Nick Fury in like in the how was that series that the people didn't like?
oh,
Um,
invasion.
yeah, like why of a sudden are we doing the Invasion series from Marvel where just like the person that usually sends the heavy
Yeah,
guns out on the field, now all of a sudden you're going to be on the field? Like, how do you get here?
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm
why are you
saying.
here? Like,
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's like I mean, there's not really much I can say about it. I'm excited for it, but I'm at the same time I'm like, what is it gonna be? Like, what is she gonna do? Like, is it gonna be 8 episodes of her sending other people like to do her dirty?
it's
I
going to be
don't
like a
know.
cameo every episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But no, but it's pretty interesting stuff.
All right, so my initial reaction, it was basically just a teaser. That's all it was. Like there was too many spoilers that was dropping out. So I guess Nintendo felt like that they had to give us something. So this
I
is
don't.
their way of trying to control the narrative. Be like, all right, so before the leaks get out of hand, here is something for you guys. We will tell you more later.
He said before the leaks get out of hand. It's like how the leaks get out of hand if they're coming from you directly. But I mean, when I watched it, I thought it was first of all the screen is obviously they wanted to let you know the screen is way bigger.
Uh-huh.
So so that's a plus. I mean, I thought it was hilarious that they actually put colors on the left and the right because I feel like they've had too many situations where people were putting the wrong side on the wrong like on the wrong side of the thing. So I feel like that's like low key their shade way of saying this is the left, you dummies, like this is the right. But did I notice was there an HDMI port? No.
They always had an HDMI port, but it was more on the docking end.
Yeah. Okay.
Like all of the ports was on the dock, which the dock is actually a bit like curvy. The Switch OLED is the same as the original. It's just that they have like a white color tone, but this one around seems to be more of like a curvature. So as far as like pricing climbs, Nintendo has always been the cheaper option. So I would say no more than like $400 because the PlayStation and Xboxes, they are already like 500, 600 or
Yeah.
something like that anyway. So Nintendo has always been the cheaper option. So they got to go no higher than like 400, especially if you're giving us graphics that's based on like the old gen.
That was yeah, that was pretty much it. That was the news. That was the current news in the world of superheroism. Like so we got a lot of cool stuff coming up and like I said, Peacemaker. I think Peacemaker is supposed to come out in February. And then, like I said, we got Daredevil in March, so a lot of good stuff coming back to back. And as always, you can check out Red Eyes Entertainment, where we will view all of this cool stuff and we'll bring it all to you for all you nerds out there, so we can get it popping. So for the people out there in Cyberland, tell us where they can find the Egregious.
And you can find the Egregious on all social outlets. Ev the Egregious on my YouTube, my Kick, and my Twitch. And since we have done this superhero rundown, I will also be doing a bit of a trailer reaction for all the video game news that came out in the week. So stay tuned to see what they are and how I felt about those, in case you haven't seen already. But at this point, they were all pretty big news, so I'll be really surprised. And now we play the waiting game.
And again, for me, you can catch me on YouTube, obviously, Red Eyes Entertainment. You can catch me, Red Eyes Media, on Instagram. I believe on X, it's Red Eyes Media. On TikTok, it's Red Eyes Entertainment. Basically, Red Eyes, either media or entertainment. I'm up on there. You'll check out the logo. Also, we are on Clubhouse. We do audio reviews on Clubhouse as well. And I said I'll do some live streaming for video games like Street Fighter and everything in between. But when all the superhero goodness comes out, you can count on me and maybe the Egregious and others to review it and give our thoughts and opinions for all of you. So that was it, everybody. So thanks you for tuning in. Until next time for some more superhero action. It's the nerds you heard, and we out this bitch.